Now the chapter says graphical representation. So in this chapter what we are going to study is how to represent a certain type of data onto graphs. And there are two types of data representation. The first type is a histogram. So in a histogram what happens is that we have to actually, in the form of histogram, we have to represent this data onto this graph paper. So what happens is, the question says, I am going to explain to you via question only because there is no other way to explain this to you. So the question says, draw a histogram to represent the following data. The data has two things. It has a class interval and it has a frequency, right? So this class interval always comes onto the x-axis. You know this is the x-axis, right? And this is the y-axis. I have already marked the x-axis and the y-axis. So how do you mark x-axis and y-axis? Is that take one square of your graph paper. If you're making on a graph paper, then take one square and on that mark 10 and then 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and 70. And upwards also take one square as 1. Okay. So this is a graph paper. If it is not a graph paper, you're making it on a regular notebook, then just take this as 1 or 2 centimeters and then just go on. Okay. So the thing is, this distance should be equal to this distance, should be equal to this distance. This is the important thing. That distance can be anything. But this distance should be equal to this, and this should be equal to this, and this should be equal to this. Same way for the y-axis. That is the important thing. So once we have done that, now we know that the class interval is starting from 20. And the first interval is 20 to 30. And for that, the frequency is 3. Right? So for 0 to 20, there is no data. Okay. Now this graph, it starts from 20. And from 20 to 30, the frequency is 3, right? So what you do is that you just construct a line from 20 and you construct a bar like thing from 20 to 30 and raise it till 3. Something like this. Okay, this is from 20 to 30 and the frequency is 3. The next we have is from 30 to 40, the frequency is 5. So from 30 to 40, you take this graph to a frequency 5. Okay. So this is 30 to 40, frequency 5. Next is 40 to 50, frequency is 2. So from 40 to 50, we make the frequency equal to 2. So how do we do that? We make the frequency equal to 2. So you just construct this from 40 to 50, right? And same way for 50 to 60, we have frequency 6. So from 50 to 60, we take the frequency up till 6. Where is 6? 6 is here, right? Now, when you're making it on a graph paper, it is obviously going to be more accurate because you will have a line drawn over here at the point 6, you will have a line. So you know that you have to take it up till there. So this is from 50 to 60, it is 6. And from 60 to 70, it is 4, right? So from 60 to 70, you just keep it on 4 and you just extend this line from 60 till 70 and join this. So this is a histogram for this data. All the histograms are going to be exactly like this. And a very easy representation, I would say. This is just marks for free, guys. And you need to draw them very carefully. Just take care that you do not make any silly mistakes. And that is the only basics I have for histogram. One important thing that you have to remember is that if your class interval is starting from a number, like this is starting from 20 already. So what you could have done is not written this 10, started the graph from 20. Now imagine that the number is 150 and the next is, the interval is 150 to 160, 160 to 170. So you're not going to draw 150 over here and then start it from there. So what you do is you just rub this part and draw something like this over here. Okay, this means that the graph is continued and I am drawing a graph after that. So you mark this as 150 and then go on further. But from over here, if you're marking it from 10 only, then it is fine and this is joined like this. Okay, so I'll be covering a few more examples based on histogram, and then we'll be moving to the next part of this chapter.